Alright, y'all, we got a crazy one for today, man. This is gonna be a good one. So go ahead and smash that like button so we can break the algorithm. Let's go ahead and get 500 likes on this video. So y'all go ahead and sit back, relax, do whatever you need to do. And let's get right into this. Okay, so right here we have an insect being controlled by a parasite. How is it still moving? That's weird, right? Like, how is it still moving? So it's being controlled by a parasite. That's what the sources say. It says it's being controlled by a parasite. And look at this, like, look at how damaged it is. It shouldn't be moving around. That's interesting. Right? How does a parasite? That's wild. That's insane, right?
So if there is nothing weird going on in Hollywood, how would you explain this to me? Purposefully chosen male-female lookalikes. How is it that some of these literally look identical? How would this be possible? You can't explain to me that is just because humans look alike somehow, somewhere, because it's all the same genetics. No, something weird's going on, and some of you might not be ready for the truth.
That is absolutely insane. Because people don't just be looking like that. That's no coincidence, right? For them to even look like that, and they in Hollywood, and they're actors, something ain't right about that. Stories exposed for using gas inside meat.
Believe it or not, it's been sitting out for 11 days. So how could it still look so fresh? It's because it's being packed and gassed in a special process that most people never heard about, using a harmless amount of carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen, which keeps the meat looking fresh and bright red.
How long through this process can you make a piece of meat continue to look bright red?
To look red. A long time. A long time.
2 days, 3 days?
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Weeks.
Dr. Ed Mills is a professor of meat science at Penn State University, and he says the color of the meat doesn't necessarily indicate it's fresh.
The consumer can't believe their eyes.
Because the consumer can't tell to look at the product that this is 2 weeks old or 3 weeks old. They have to look at the sell-by date on the package.
To demonstrate how well carbon monoxide gas works, we left 2 cuts of lamb out at room temperature. One was gas-packed, the other no gas. After a few days, the untreated meat turns a dark, unappealing color. But the gas-packed meat stays red, even after being left out for 8 days. The only visible sign of spoilage is the package puffing out and a bad odor when opened. We had the meat analyzed in a lab, and it's no surprise that both cuts are loaded with bacteria.
Probably after a few days in room temperature, it's not fresh, but it looks fresh.
Without refrigerated storage, I can't assure that the product is safe to consume.
A consumer can't look on the ingredients here
No.
and see that there's gas added
No.
to this package.
No, they'd have no way of knowing it.
John Nicolai heads a union that represents butchers in New Jersey. He thinks meat should be fresh cut in stores by trained butchers.
Tell the consumer, put up a big sign saying, we do not cut any fresh meat in this store.
He told us to talk to this union butcher in New Jersey.
All of the meat that I see here in this display wasn't actually cut here.
No.
None of it's cut here.
Nope.
Do the customers really know that there's gas in some of this packaging?
I don't believe.
That is crazy. Like, I get this is what they have to do, but that's just crazy that they gotta even go that far to put in chemicals and stuff to make it last that long, you know. Like, what is that even doing to our bodies and stuff, you know? It's crazy. That's why it's like, it make me not even want to, you know, make you don't even want to eat nothing. Did y'all know this about aluminum foil?
If you go into most kitchens, you'll find aluminum foil in one of the drawers. It's a pretty common kitchen staple that's used for cooking, wrapping, even to treat certain common ailments. People have been using aluminum foil for years, often on a daily basis. What you might not know is that a recent study has found that there are things about this kitchen staple that you don't know, and you need to. Doctors are warning that you should probably stop using aluminum foil right away. Aluminum is a neurotoxic-rich material. It can have serious side effects on the function of your brain. It's also been associated with Alzheimer's disease. Many doctors believe that exposure to this heavy metal can cause adverse effects that can last a long time. A few issues that are caused by this metal include loss of balance, memory issues, lack of coordination, loss of bodily control, and mental decline. Researchers have also found that when you cook with aluminum foil, it can have an effect on your bones. Aluminum can build up in your bones when you use it for cooking, and that can take the place of calcium in your bones, reducing your bone strength. In time, frequent use of aluminum foil could cause your bones to break more easily. It's not just the brain and the bones that can be affected by cooking with aluminum foil either. Studies have shown that its use has been linked to pulmonary fibrosis as well. The study also showed that if you inhale aluminum particles, it can result in respiratory problems. And that often occurs when you grill using aluminum foil. If you cook with aluminum foil at very high temperatures, part of the metal can be emitted into the food, making it unsafe to eat. A chemical engineer researcher at the American University of Sharjah, Dr. Essam Zubaidi, evaluated the effects of aluminum and cooking, and his study found that when you cook one meal in aluminum foil, it can introduce up to 400 milligrams of aluminum into your food. According to the World Health Organization, the recommended daily allowance of aluminum is limited to only 60 milligrams a day. Since you can get 400 milligrams introduced in your food when you use it to cook in just one meal, you can see how dangerous this really is. Furthermore, the higher the temperature, the more leaching occurs, and the more dangerous your food becomes. The doctor also found that while cooking with foil is a bad idea, it's even worse when you use it to cook vegetables like tomatoes, citrus juices, or spices. Unlike vitamins, minerals, and iron, our bodies don't need aluminum. Also, our body is not able to process it correctly. Since your body can't process aluminum, you wonder what happens to it after it's ingested? Studies have shown that it accumulates in your brain, lungs, kidney, liver, and even your thyroid, and that can put your health in great jeopardy. Aluminum can damage your central nervous system as well. Even worse, aluminum has been linked to autism in children. When children are exposed to aluminum in their drinking water, it can cause bone, brain, and kidney disease. Research has shown that aluminum can cause toxic stress on your brain. If your brain stores too much aluminum, it can result in MS, epilepsy, ADD, Alzheimer's, chronic fatigue syndrome, and other serious neurological disorders. The best thing you can do for your health and the health of your family is to reduce your exposure to aluminum. Since it is the most abundant metal on the planet, it's impossible to avoid it altogether. Fortunately, though, there are steps you can take to limit your exposure. Start by using aluminum-free cookware. You should also avoid personal hygiene products that contain aluminum hydroxide. And finally, cut back on your consumption of processed foods. Another step that you can take is to consume more foods that remove heavy metals naturally. These include onions, garlic, cilantro, carrot juice, green tea, burdock, and high-grade bentonite. Now that you know how harmful aluminum can be to your body, it might be time to get rid of it altogether. That might mean a more difficult cleanup after cooking and finding a new method to cook baked potatoes, but these small sacrifices are worth it since they could essentially save your life.
That's crazy, I guess. Hey, the more you know.
To understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of frequency and vibrations.
Was that thing just invisible?
Healthcare is important to your whole body functioning. This is why we switched to homemade coconut oil toothpaste and ditched the store's toxic toothpaste. You're going to use 1/4 of organic extra virgin coconut oil, baking soda, 2 teaspoons. I recommend using a really good quality salt, so I use Redmond's real salt. And you're going to do 1 teaspoon of that, mix it all together, put it in a glass jar, and it'll last for about 3 weeks, and you will be amazed with the results.
How many of y'all use homemade toothpaste? Or do you not? This is pretty cool. The source says you can use this to alkalize your water or charge your water.
Another test showing the huge 24-inch coil that we just did, all hand wound. It's like a work of art right now. Here we go. Magnet's going crazy. Look at that vortex. Amazing. Wow, this one's really...
Hey, did y'all notice about copper? Y'all notice?
So when you create these antennas and you start placing these into your garden, you'll start to notice your plants will grow faster. You'll start to yield more food. Your plants will be bigger, right? You will get bigger food, like tomatoes that are maybe 2-3 times the size, potatoes that are 2-3 times the size. You'll start to notice that you'll have more bees come around. You'll have more insects. You'll have more birds. Your whole entire area will begin to change because you're increasing the magnetism. What's happening now is with all these cell phone towers and antennas and all this other nonsense that they're rolling out, it's impacting our soil and decimating the magnetism of that area. So it starts to deaden the soil and the soil becomes dry. But it's crazy because when you look at all of this, you know, we could be yielding so much food, and that's what they were doing back in the day. They understood the magnetism of the earth, and if you harness it, you can grow abundance amount of food without using anything but the energy that's all around us. So,
dope, man, we live on a magical, abundant planet, man. It never should never have came to this. You know, we have an abundance of everything we need. It's crazy. We're gonna get out of this though. Y'all stay tuned, man.
I'm not only going to tell you, but I'm going to show you how to extract free energy right from below your feet. So this might just save your life one day. Let's say that the apocalypse hits, right? And you have luckily survived, but now you need to charge batteries or get a little bit of power. Well, luckily, good old planet Earth can help you out. What I'm going to tell you about today is something called an Earth battery. It's pretty simple and very fucking cool. And just to be clear, this isn't energy from telluric currents. People often confuse this, and it's even mentioned on Wikipedia right here, but it's inaccurate. So Earth batteries are nothing new, and in the 1800s, they were used to power the telegraph lines and to amplify the signals over vast distances. And quite a few inventors throughout history have filed patents on Earth battery devices like the one you see behind me, which can do things like power our clock. And then we have the legend right here, Nathan Stubblefield. Look, most of you probably haven't heard of him, but he was a badass inventor. He developed wireless communication systems using the Earth, and he created a variation of the Earth battery, which again, you can see right behind me. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off, and he ended up not having a good life, and I think starved to death. Kind of sucks. The thing with Earth batteries, though, is that it's pretty tough to generate substantial amounts of power. But is it? And this is where shit gets crazy, folks. This guy right here, Michael Emmy, in 1893, filed a patent on an Earth battery generator unlike anything seen before. This dude claimed that the design in his patent could generate up to 3,015 watts of power. See it right there. And he said it could be scaled up to generate as much power as you want. So I'm kind of thinking we should fucking build this thing. Who's with me? Anyhow, let's get back on track here, folks. So let's cover the basic knowledge first. We're all familiar with a battery, and a battery is just an electrochemical cell, which means that it generates electricity from chemical reactions. With an Earth battery, what's happening here is that soil is acting as a moist electrolyte in a voltaic cell and causing a chemical reaction to occur which generates electrical energy with just 2 electrodes. And here's the thing, Earth batteries are very easy to build and only require 2 dissimilar metals that you stick in the ground or put in some other type of configuration using soil, like an ice cube tray that you see behind me. One key thing, though, that you need to be sure of is that you have the correct electrodes when doing this. Behind me here is a table that shows the potentials of metals and soils. You want to pick 2 that have the largest difference in potential. For instance, this table behind me, magnesium and graphite, they work very well together, but most likely you're not going to have magnesium, so go with aluminum. If you need graphite, just get it from a Pitzel. I bought some today. Okay, so once you've got your electrodes, what you're going to want to do next is take these plates and bury them or hammer them into the ground. You can also just take the dirt and put it in a bucket, like in this image right here. Next, you're going to get 2 wires. You're going to connect them each to one of the pieces of metal which you have buried or have in the bucket. Connect your voltmeter across and boom, you will have a voltage. But guess what? It's a pretty shitty current that you can't really do anything with, unfortunately. This is because the current you generate is proportional to the velocity of the electrons. When the velocity of the electrons increases, you'll then get a higher current. Now, when there's an extra force to the electrons, their movement speeds up, which increases the current. What this means is that you're going to have to make multiple configurations and connect them in series parallel to increase the voltage and current. You can also add salt water to the soil to enhance the operation. And the sky is the limit with this. So check this out. This is from a research paper I was going over. You can see the Earth battery right here, and then those LEDs are being powered by that Earth battery. Incredible. I'm not only going to...
It's dope, man. You never, like you said, you never know. I need that one day. So, the power of magnetic energy. Is that hot water? Gotta be hot water, right? Oh wow. That's insane. That's crazy. Yeah. He just, what is that? That's crazy. It make me wonder, like, how, like, what else can you use that for? You know? That's interesting. Yo, that is crazy how magnets do this. This makes me think, like, what if we could make, like, I don't know. It's dope, man. How it's able to do this. It's no string attack. It's just energy, you know. Energy. It's crazy. Almost like you got magic, like you got powers or something. It's crazy. This could definitely be a useful thing or something else too. This is not for just, you know, to do this. It's very interesting though. For real.
Inside here is 3 grams of sheep explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? The team. They can penetrate buildings, cars, trains, evade people, bullets, pretty much any countermeasure. They cannot be stopped because we are thinking big. Watch. A $25 million order now buys this. Enough to kill half a city. The bad half.
That is just crazy how they really got something like that though. Did y'all see how I just did that? Y'all saw that. Hey, come on, man. What else they got?
Here are 3 ways your thoughts create your reality. Number 1, electromagnetic fields. Your thoughts generate electromagnetic fields, attracting experiences of similar frequencies. Positive thoughts emit higher frequencies, drawing positive experiences, while negative thoughts attract the opposite. Number 2, the subconscious mind. Repeated thoughts with strong emotions impress your subconscious mind, which acts like a missile locked onto a target. It relentlessly pursues the goal, constantly correcting course until it's achieved. Number 3, the heart-brain connection. The heart also sends out electromagnetic signals through emotions. When thoughts and feelings merge, they become a potent force of attraction, amplifying your manifestation power. Cultivate a harmonious heart-brain connection for a life-changing impact. Harness the power of your thoughts and bend reality to your will.
How many of y'all use AirPods?
So today we're going to talk about the AirPods again and the patent that everybody was asking for. Here's the patent. You can look it up. It's the Apple AirPod patent. It actually shows everything that the AirPods are taking while you're wearing them, all the information that they are collecting. Now the real question is, where is all that information going, right? And to make it really weird, on the Apple phones, they have this thing called a fitness tracker, right? And this fitness tracker takes your steps taken, body motion, I don't know how they get that, vitals, and also the additional information on brain waves and everything else that's going inside your body, right? So turn this setting off if you do have an Apple phone. So then if we take it a step further on the weird part of this is that these AirPods can be configured to provide health-related information or data such as, but not limited to, meaning anything, heart rate data, blood pressure data, temperature data, blood oxygen saturation level data, diet and nutritional information, medical reminders, such as one of these right in you, health-related tips, and other information. The question is who's collecting all this data, right? And is it syncing us up to... It kind of fits the narrative when we kind of think about it, right? The whole entire kind of Elon Musk wants to put a chip into your head. It sounds almost to me like the AirPods are kind of connected to this. What do you guys think?
Hey, you own this for real. AirPods. Even the name. Have y'all heard about the invisible city in Saudi Arabia?
This is how they'll ultimately control all of us. They have just started construction of this giant $1 trillion wall in Saudi Arabia. They want these giant megalithic cities that everyone, the masses, will live in. In the next few decades, you're going to see the mass group of humans who survive all of the NWO Depop agenda. This is where the normal human will live. They're going to say the world is burning and life outside the wall is going to be this desolate ruin. There's going to come a point where human beings are going to be born into these kinds of cities and they're going to be told that life outside is physically impossible because of the hostile climate that humans can't live in anymore. Is this the future that you want for you and your kids? I'm really being censored. Please like the video, follow as I keep exposing the truth to the world, and join the Discord if you have urgent or important videos to share.
I feel like this won't happen. I mean, it is possible, but we're gonna get to the point where we just like, man, the planet gonna give us superpowers for real. Ever wonder why things really fall down?
Ever wondered why things really fall down? Well, you've come to the right place. All physical things exist at ground level. It's their natural habitat. Anything made of physical matter has a molecular structure. This is what determines the density of an object, not gravity. That's why a slinky waits for the rest of it to push it down, because there's no force there pulling it to the ground. What you're seeing here is just matter returning to its natural, neutral state through density buoyancy and electrostatics. The universe is not gravitational, but it is electrical. Watch the video until the end for full explanation.
Everything that exists is electric. There's not one thing that exists in the entire world that is not electric. It's actually the unifying force that keeps everything here, holds everything together, and everything seeks equilibrium based on that. So everything's trying to find a state of rest based on its electric phenomena or its electric nature within the environment that we exist within. And then when you start to look further into it, you find out that on the smallest scale, electrostatics is significantly stronger than gravity is even claimed to be. Magnitudes greater, 10 to the 36 power to be specific. So everything, simply put, everything that exists is electric. Everything that is falling to the ground or not falling to the ground is seeking equilibrium based on electrostatics. We can actually test this. We can use something called a corona motor, and whenever we manipulate electrostatics, we can make things levitate. We can make things go up or down, and we can actually change how fast they go down. We can also manipulate the weight of an object simply by manipulating electrostatics. And of course, that's how science actually works, is you do an experiment that shows you what the cause of the effect is, and you can manipulate electrostatics and cause the effect of downward acceleration, commonly referred to as gravity. Of course, I've never seen a test that manipulates space-time, and you will never see that. It doesn't exist. Everyone thinks that the reason things fall is because of gravity, but actually everything that exists is electrostatic. So whenever things go to the ground, they're seeking equilibrium, so they go find their balance on the ground where their charge disperses or spreads out in through the ground. So we have positive charge in the air, we have negative charge on the surface of the earth or on the ground, which is why it's called grounding, and then we introduced positive charge and then it went back down to the ground to seek equilibrium. This shows that that's actually what objects do when they fall to the ground. They go to the ground because of the electric forces and they seek equilibrium on the earth.
We knew about it as in the 1950s, even earlier, and it's all been hidden because if humans were allowed free energy, free movement, and able to explore, we would find out what this place is. We'd find out our position in this world. And that's the number one thing. Why are they hiding flat Earth? Why? What's the motive? And the motive is to keep us dumbed down, not knowing who we are, not knowing where we are, not knowing the true power that we have, and not having true freedom.
Electric sun excites the cold Nobel gases in the environment as it moves into and out of the horizon, aka the horizontal vanishing point during sunrise and sunset. We live in an electromagnetic torus field on the plane of inertia emitted by the magnetic North Pole. The sun and moon are polar opposites of electromagnetism. The Earth is Earth. It's the perfect system. Flat earthers can show experiments to back up flat Earth, but the globe only uses theories. My page is literally full of proof, so follow and bind your mind for more content like this.
The recent fires in California, Australia, and now Hawaii are unlike anything we've ever seen before. They are being called The recent fires in California, Australia, and now Hawaii are unlike anything we've ever seen before. They are being called forest fires and wildfires, but they are clearly something very different. These fires are burning homes into a white powdery ash footprint, while often leaving the surrounding green trees and shrubs practically untouched. In extreme cases, forest fires can reach temperatures up to 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit, and the melting point of aluminum is 1,220 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is possible for an extreme forest fire to melt aluminum. But there are cars with puddles of melted aluminum that were clearly not in the wildfire area. And melted glass, which has a melting point around 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. These are unexplained anomalies. In the California fires of 2018, cars were randomly bursting into flames on the freeway with no surrounding fires. We've seen these same anomalies in New York City on September 11th, 2001. Cars completely burned out with no explanation. In Maui, these unnatural fires spared the homes of the rich while burning the native homes of the working class. With precision, these fires destroyed the most envied, high-valued areas of Maui. For decades, directed energy weapons have been classified, but they have been on the public record for several years now. Directed energy weapons, known as DEWs, have the ability to burn homes with this sort of precision. But in order to be this precise, the area would have to be mapped out. In January of this year, green lasers were seen over Hawaii, which could best be described as a geospatial array for mapping terrain. We have seen that among the ashy ruins, there are blue-colored objects that have somehow survived the devastation. Blue cars, blue umbrellas, a blue boat, blue planters, Videos online are going viral that show how lasers can easily burn through certain colored objects, but objects that are colored blue remain unharmed. Directed energy weapons include lasers, millimeter wave, and microwave. They are all based on light frequencies, and different wavelengths of light affect colors differently. For example, in laser tattoo removal, different wavelengths are used for removing different colors. And this is because color is a quality of light. Each color has its own frequency. Interestingly enough, the frequency of the color blue is 6.66. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
So today we're going to hit on a real cool one, which is mercury. Check this. Free energy. See that? See that spinning? That's the magic of mercury. Now, they tell us to stay away from mercury because it's toxic, but they also tell you that it's toxic because it's toxic to the profits of JP Morgan Chase and the Rockefellers and all the other people who bought out the energy industries so that they could put a meter on something and charge it to you, right? That's the whole thing. Check this right here. Mercury on top of a light bulb spinning. And the thing is the spinning is very fascinating because when you look at the old buildings from the old world, the sacred buildings, they used to have these brass balls and they loaded them up with mercury and they put them real high up so that they could gather atmospheric energy, which is free energy. The higher you go up, the more energy that's up there. And they would run, for example, a copper wire down into their home and they could use that if they wanted free energy or to light their light bulbs or whatever things that they had in the home. A lot of this is never disclosed because, for example, when we look at all of these things from the past, we start to look at a lot of things were about electrical conductivity. Look at that. They all look like conductors, right? Sacred buildings looking like conductors. They're built like conductors. There's free energy right there. Free energy right there. But the thing is they changed all the history to make it look like everybody was fighting each other. It was medieval. People were going against each other. But in reality, I think the hidden history of the past is very different than what we've been taught.
Indeed. That is so true. Yeah. They want us to believe something else.
How to raise your vibration. Your thoughts are electric, your emotions are magnetic. Every thought has an emotion attached to it. Your emotions are felt in the heart, and the heart is 5,000 times stronger magnetically than the brain. In order to raise your vibration, you need to think properly. You need to have positive thought patterns. This will then have an effect of positive emotions, of feeling positive. When you feel positive emotions, you are putting out an electromagnetic vibration into the ether. Not only this, you are actually positively charging all the cells in your body. Every thought, every emotion you feel is affecting your cells and your health. You could eat the most cleanest foods ever, but if you're feeling negative all the time, you will have poor health. Because disease only exists on low vibrations, it cannot physically live on a high vibration environment. So if you want to raise your vibration, you've got to master your mind. Master your mind, you will master your emotions. And never say anything negative, and never associate with negative talk, because you become that vibration. By doing this, you will naturally attract people who are on that similar vibration that you are vibrating on. Everyone in your life is a reflection of the vibration that you put out.
Energy attract energy. Or yeah. Energy that's like your energy attracts energy. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. Come on, man.
Right now, there are 131 active deep underground military bases in the United States. There's 1,477 of them worldwide. Each one has an average cost of $17 to $19 billion. Each one is built in the site, it used to be, it'd take a year to 2 years to build each one, and now they're capable of building a couple of them a year with sophisticated methods. My colleague, Al Bielik, has actually been on some of the high-speed railways, the magneto-leviton trains that connect all the deep underground military bases within the United States. He's been on a Mach 2 train and floats off a single rail at a 3/4 of an inch off the rail, and is what you call high tech. We have nothing like this on the surface. Groom Lake is where the infamous Area 51, S4, S2, a CIA base, it was originally a bombing range, a nuclear test site. It was later become the most secret base in the United States. It employs over 18,000 workers who work in shifts at 12 hours at a whack. Most of them work in the cover of darkness, like us. We built out 9 underground military bases there, each with an average capacity capable was basically a city underground, roughly 4¼ cubic miles hollowed out underground. They have boring machines, for instance. They don't bore, they literally vitrify and melt the rock, deflagrate the rock. It's a very sophisticated laser melting and deflagrating system. It reduces the rock to a powder and then melts the remaining rock as a coating on the inside of the base, so you don't have to use gunite cements and other kinds of things like that. That's all old hat now. Technology is just basically, the new technology we get is the old hat of the military. Anyway, after we drilled all 4 holes, it's about 2 days to drill all 4 of them. And when you build an underground base, you drill 4 basic holes, and then you call stopes or cross-member holes across, and you use blasting equipment, special blasting equipment by the analyzation of the rock formation, and you literally blast out or tunnel out or deflagrate or melt rock out to build the large rooms that are required for this underground base. I was involved in building another base inside of Dulce, New Mexico, which is Los Alamos Laboratory. It's a biological laboratory. On the southwest part of the Archuleta Mesa, we built an underground facility, a better part of 3 cubic miles hollowed out underground. Then to the southwest of that, we were in the process of the early stages of building. We drilled 4 large tunnel-like holes. Some of them ran 2.5 miles under the surface. Number of the original wells or drilling machines that were used were at the rate of 2 miles a day. Area 51 is only one base, one of the 131 bases. Of these 131 bases, I call Area 51 a mega base. It's got more than one base in it. It's Tonopah Test Range, Area 51, S2, S4, Groom Lake, and a host of others. Now, these mega bases are gobbling up our gross national product. Right now we're spending 28% of the gross national product on building underground bases solely. That doesn't count for the defense budget. That doesn't count for the spare parts budget. It doesn't count for any of that at all. And the black budget is dead. It sidesteps the United States Congress and its Constitution of its people and says you're a bunch of morons, you don't need to know. Well, a need-to-know basis is an executive order written during the Eisenhower era right after the created 1954 treaty and is treasonous and illegal in this country and should be overturned and abolished. All this alien thing is fine, except for one thing. Alien takeover is a serious threat. Kept totally out of the public view, off the surface, I'm sure the underground bases, without question, are being used as a place to house alien takeover. Alien takeover means the implementation of a one-world government.
I still find it crazy how we even got like undergrounds like this. That's wild.
We have an aura around our body, and it protects us from disease. Every human body is surrounded by an energy field. These magnetic fields are something you don't pay much attention to, but the truth is that the entire survival of the individual depends on maintaining the integrity of this energy flow. Now, the moment we break the spiritual rules, we damage that magnetic flow. We have to observe the laws of nature, and if we don't, the magnetic field fails. It can be damaged by unbridled living. It can be destroyed by moods, attitudes, fear, complexes, alcohol, drugs, narcotics, all kinds of things. But if this field is damaged, it reacts immediately through the health of the individual. You must never allow yourself to develop attitudes that are incompatible with the integrity that nature has bestowed. Magnetic fields are absolutely honest. There is no way to make them dishonest. And if you respect your integrity, you will be full of energy, immune to infection, disease, and suffering.
Hey man, if y'all enjoying this video or not, go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't already. China and no digital ID can't buy food. I think this is what they want to bring to America.
So the latest in this dystopian outrage that is now all of China apparently is I once again cannot buy food. A couple days ago, my uncle and my cousin helped me get a cell phone that is linked to a Chinese bank card so that I could buy anything. But now, apparently, it has been flagged for some reason, and I have to pass facial recognition identity verification, which is insane, because all I want to do is just spend my gift card balance on this debit card.
Do not cover your chin. Face the screen. Open your mouth. Why is it making that open up a mouth? That's crazy, right?
I can't believe I'm doing this. I have to open my mouth. Oh my god. Terrifying.
It's crazy.
Oh.
It didn't even work.
And of course, because it was my cousin who set this up for me, I did not pass verification. I guess it's a good thing that the Chinese app is not racist. But now, I once again can't buy anything.
That sucks, man. I feel like they want to bring that here. What do y'all think? Y'all think they ever? Because I remember them saying something about digital ID. Something like that. With no ID or something like that. That's interesting.
Proof the ancient world was more advanced than we are. Machines to cut stone. It's not fallen angel tech. That's from our past before the fallen. But where or how did they learn this? That is the question we have not solved yet.
It says Ozempic is reptile venom.
They never told you it was venom. I didn't know it was venom. I looked it up. What kind of drug is this? Oh, it's a GLP-1 drug. What the hell does GLP-1 drug mean? Never heard that in my life. Holy crap, it comes from the venom of a lizard? I want to ask you, all of you at home, how many of you are convinced that you or your loved ones are overweight and diabetic because you have a Gila monster venom deficiency? And oh my God, God forgot to put enough of that damn Gila monster's venom in your body, and you ran out. Now you're fat and overweight and you're diabetic. So now you need to inject that venom inside your body every week, once a week. This is the insanity you live in. This is the deception you live in. Just because they called it Wegovy and Ozempic and said it was FDA approved, did I go, oh, it must be safe and effective. I don't know why these people's stomachs are being paralyzed and why they say they're going to develop cancer in their thyroid after a year. Really? Go look it up. I didn't know anything about this drug. It didn't even exist when I graduated school. How did I go on platforms like the Diamond and Silk Show the very next week? We bring this up and I'm educating the whole world about this drug. And then everybody's calling me, wanting on their shows to talk about, oh my God, it's another drug made by Venom.
That's wild. Dang. This Ozempic thing been going around a lot too. It's like everybody been using it. Right. And YouTube, that is for educational purposes only, entertainment purposes only. Alright, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and end off the video right here. Hope you guys enjoyed that, learned something new. That was a good video. We got a lot more to get into in the next upload. So you guys turn on the notification bell, subscribe and post notification bell on, and like up the video. Let's get this video to 1,000 likes. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next upload.
I might lean, I might fall, I might save, I might spend, I might ball. Shit, I might call, I might not, I might ghost till tomorrow. First to admit, I feel good, but I'm flawed. Work on yourself, keep your family involved. Check on your health, never stress about the loss. If you move with respect, you'll attract what you want, that's a fact.